The military kennel master crossed his arms. "Get him out of here." The old man stood near the fence. Gray beard, torn jacket, boots held together with duct tape. He said nothing.
We made it home.
Behind the chain link, a German shepherd lunged at the gate, teeth bared, eyes wild. The dog had been returned 3 times in 2 months. Too aggressive, too broken. "Sir, this is a restricted area," the young corporal said. His tone was polite but firm. "You can't be here." The old man didn't move. He just watched the dog. The kennel master shook his head. "We've had trainers from Fort Benning, a behavioral specialist from Germany. Nobody can touch that animal without sedation." The dog's name was Rex, 3 tour overseas, explosive detection, 27 confirmed saves. Then an IED went off too close. His handler didn't make it. Rex came home with scars on his legs and something darker behind his eyes. Now he trusted no one. The old man's hand rested on the fence. His fingers were steady. "I said move along," the corporal repeated. There was an edge in his voice now. "This isn't a petting zoo." The kennel master glanced at the old man's clothes. The stains, the smell of sweat and old smoke. "You need to leave now." The old man's eyes stayed on the dog. Rex stopped lunging. He stood completely still, ears forward, his breathing slowed. The corporal stepped closer. "Sir, I'm not going to ask again." The old man turned his head slightly. His voice was quiet, rough. "Let me in." The kennel master laughed, not cruel, just tired. "You're joking." "I'm not. That dog has put 2 handlers in the hospital. You wouldn't last 10 seconds. The old man said nothing. The corporal reached for his radio. "I'm calling the MPs." "Wait." A woman's voice came from behind them. Captain Ellison. She was the base veterinarian, 30 years in. She'd seen everything. She walked slowly toward the fence. Her eyes moved between the old man and the dog. "Rex hasn't been calm in 3 weeks, she said quietly. The kennel master frowned. "Ma'am, this man is trespassing." "I know." She studied the old man's face, the deep lines, the stillness. "What's your name?" The old man hesitated. "Harlan." "You serve?" He nodded once. "Where?" "Long time ago." She waited. He didn't say more. Rex sat down. His tail didn't wag, but his mouth closed, his muscles loosened. Captain Ellison looked at the kennel master. "Open the gate." "Ma'am." "Open it." The corporal stepped back. His hand stayed near his sidearm. The kennel master unlocked the gate. It swung open with a metal creak. The old man stepped inside. Slow, no hesitation, no fear. Rex's ears flicked back. His body tensed. A low growl started in his chest. Harlan stopped 6 feet away. He didn't crouch, didn't reach out, didn't speak. He just stood there. The growl faded. Harlan lowered himself to one knee, still slow, still calm. He waited. 30 seconds passed, then a minute. Rex took 1 step forward. Then another. His nose lifted. He sniffed the air. His eyes never left Harlan's face. Harlan stayed perfectly still. Then he said 1 word. "Izzy." The dog's ears dropped. His head lowered. He walked forward and pressed his body against Harlan's chest. No one spoke. The kennel master's mouth hung open. Captain Ellison's eyes narrowed. She stepped closer to the fence. "Who are you?" she asked. Harlan's hand rested on Rex's head. His fingers moved gently along the dog's neck. "Nobody," he said. But his hands told a different story. They knew exactly where to touch, where tension gathered, where old injuries still ached. Rex leaned into him. His breathing deepened. For the first time in months, the dog closed his eyes. Captain Ellison pulled out her phone. She stepped away and made a call. The corporal and the kennel master stood frozen. They didn't understand what they were seeing. Harlan stayed on his knee. His hand never stopped moving. Slow, steady, the kind of touch that only comes from years of practice. Somewhere in the distance, a flag snapped in the wind. Harlan's eyes were far away. The smell hit him first: dust, diesel, burning rubber. The sound of rotors overhead. A younger man's voice beside him. "Think he'll make it?" Harlan didn't answer. He kept his hand on the dog's side. The Belgian Malinois had taken shrapnel in the hindquarters. Blood soaked through the bandages. "Stay with me," Harlan whispered. The dog's eyes stayed on his. They were 12 miles from base. The convoy had been hit, 3 vehicles down. Harlan's squad was pinned. The dog's name was Juno. She'd already alerted twice that day. Saved 6 men from a pressure plate IED hidden under gravel. Now she was dying. "We have to move," someone shouted. Harlan didn't move. He kept pressure on the wound, kept his voice low. "You're okay, you're okay." Juno's breathing stuttered. Then the medevac came. Harlan carried her himself, ran through gunfire, didn't stop until she was on the bird. She lived. Harlan got a commendation he never wore. Captain Ellison returned. Her face was different now, serious. "Gunnery Sergeant Harlan Voss," she said quietly. The kennel master's eyes widened. "Retired Marine Corps, K9 handler, 12 years active, 4 deployments." She paused. 17 dogs trained, 16 came home. Harlan didn't look up. "You disappeared after discharge," she continued. "No forwarding address, no VA contact." Harlan's jaw tightened. "Why?" she asked. He didn't answer. Rex shifted. His head rested against Harlan's shoulder. The kennel master finally spoke. His voice was quieter now. "Why didn't you say something?" Harlan's hand stilled. "Wasn't asked." Captain Ellison crouched near the fence. "We've been trying to retire Rex for 8 weeks. He's unadoptable. The plan was euthanasia next month." Harlan's eyes lifted. "I won't let that happen," she said, "but I need help." Harlan looked at Rex, the scars on the dog's legs, the weight in his eyes. "He's not broken," Harlan said. "I know. He just needs someone who understands." Captain Ellison nodded. "Will you stay?" Harlan hesitated. "We can get you a room, meals, stipend if you work with him." "I don't need pay." "Then what do you need?" Harlan's hand moved to Rex's ear. The dog leaned in. "Just him." They gave Harlan a small room near the kennels. A cot, a locker, a hot plate. He didn't ask for more. Every morning he worked with Rex. No commands, no force, just time. They walked the perimeter, sat in the grass. Harlan never raised his voice. Other handlers watched. Some asked questions. Harlan didn't give lessons, he just worked. Weeks passed. Rex began to settle. The aggression faded. The trust returned. One afternoon, a young private approached. His name was Coop, 20 years old, fresh out of training. "Sir," he said, "can I ask you something?" Harlan looked up. "How do you do it? How do you get him to listen?" Harlan was quiet for a long moment. "I don't make him listen," he said. "I let him know I'm listening." Coop frowned. "I don't understand." Harlan pointed to Rex. "He's been through hell, seen things, lost people. You can't train that out. You have to meet him where he is." "But the manual says." "The manual's for dogs that haven't been to war." Coop nodded slowly. Harlan stood, dust clung to his pants. "You want to help him?" "Yes, sir." "Then stop trying to fix him. Just be present." Coop watched as Harlan walked away. Rex followed without a leash. Captain Ellison submitted a report. She recommended Harlan for a contract position. Veteran K9 Rehabilitation Specialist. The base commander approved it. Harlan didn't attend the meeting, didn't sign paperwork in an office. He just kept showing up. One morning, a staff sergeant arrived at the kennel. He'd heard about Harlan, had a dog of his own, a shepherd named Bricks. Same story, combat trauma, returned home angry. "Can you help?" the staff sergeant asked. Harlan looked at Bricks, saw the tension in his spine, the flicker in his eyes. "I can try." It took 3 weeks, but Bricks softened, began to trust again. Word spread quietly. More handlers came, more dogs. Harlan never advertised, never explained his methods. He just worked. 6 months later, Rex was cleared for adoption. A retired Marine from Oregon applied, a man with land, experience, patience. Captain Ellison handled the paperwork, but when it came time to transfer Rex, she hesitated. "You should keep him," she said to Harlan. Harlan shook his head. "He needs space, a home." "You could have that too." Harlan's eyes stayed on the dog. "Maybe." "Then why not take it?" He didn't answer. The day Rex left, Harlan walked him to the transport himself. The dog stopped at the gate, looked back. Harlan knelt, placed his hand on Rex's head one last time. "You're good," he said quietly. "You've always been good." Rex leaned into him, then turned and climbed into the crate. Harlan stood, watched the truck pull away. Captain Ellison stood beside him. "You okay?" she asked. Harlan nodded. "Another dog arrives tomorrow," she said. "A Malinois, bite injuries, 3 failed placements." Harlan looked at her. "I'll be here." She smiled just slightly. The kennel was quiet that evening. Harlan sat on the bench outside his room. The sun was setting. Orange light stretched across the yard. A younger handler walked past, stopped. "Sir," he said, "I just wanted to say thank you." Harlan looked up. "My dog Bruno, he's doing better because of you." Harlan nodded once. The handler hesitated, then saluted. Harlan didn't return it, just met his eyes. The handler walked on. Harlan sat alone. The air smelled like cut grass and distant rain. He thought about the dogs, the ones he'd trained, the ones he'd lost. He thought about the men who never came home. And the ones who did, but couldn't find their way back. He stood, walked toward the kennel. Inside, a new dog waited, eyes hard, body tense. Harlan opened the gate, stepped inside, sat down, and waited. The dog's name was Apollo. Black coat, scars across his muzzle, one ear torn at the tip. He didn't lunge, didn't bark. He just stared. Harlan didn't move, didn't speak. The fluorescent lights hummed overhead. Somewhere down the hall, a door closed. Apollo's muscles were coiled tight, ready to strike, ready to run. Harlan let his breath settle, slow, even. 5 minutes passed. Apollo's head tilted slightly, his nose twitched. Harlan closed his eyes, not in submission, not in fear, just presence. Another minute. Apollo took one step forward, then stopped. Harlan's hands rested on his knees, palms up, open. The dog circled, slow, calculating. Then he sat 8 feet away, still watching. Harlan opened his eyes. "I know," he said quietly. Apollo's ear flicked. "I know what it's like." The dog didn't move. Harlan stayed until the lights went out on a timer. Then he stood, walked to the gate, locked it behind him. Apollo watched him leave. The next morning, Harlan returned before sunrise. He brought a folding chair, a thermos of coffee, a blanket. He sat outside Apollo's kennel, didn't go in, didn't try to engage. Just sat. The sun came up, the base woke around him. Handlers arrived, started their routines. A few glanced at Harlan, no one interrupted. By noon, Apollo had moved closer to the gate, still wary, still tense. Harlan poured a cup of coffee. The steam rose in the cool air. He took a sip, said nothing. Apollo lay down. His eyes stayed open. Harlan stayed until evening, then left the same way he came, quiet, consistent. He did the same thing the next day. And the next. On the fourth day, Apollo was waiting at the gate when Harlan arrived. Harlan set down his chair, unfolded it, sat. Apollo's tail moved, just once, not a wag, just a flicker. Harlan allowed himself a small breath. Progress. A week later, Captain Ellison stopped by. "You haven't gone inside yet," she said. Harlan shook his head. "Why not?" "He'll let me know when." She looked at Apollo. The dog was lying near the gate now, his body more relaxed than it had been in months. "The previous handlers tried dominance training," she said. "Corrections, discipline." Harlan's jaw tightened. "It made him worse," she continued. "It always does." She sat on the ground beside his chair. "How long were you on the street?" Harlan didn't answer right away. 3 years, he finally said. "After discharge. After everything." She waited. "I couldn't fit anymore," he said. "The noise, the people, everyone wanting to know what happened, what I did, what it was like." "So you left." "I disappeared." Apollo shifted. His eyes moved between them. "What changed?" she asked. Harlan looked at the dog. "I saw him," he said. "Saw what they were going to do, and I couldn't let it happen again." Again. Harlan's hands gripped the armrests. "I lost a dog once," he said. "Overseas. A Malinois named Kilo saved my life twice. Took a bullet meant for me." His voice cracked just slightly. "They wanted to put him down, said he was too injured, too expensive to treat. I fought it, filed appeals, begged." Captain Ellison's face softened. "They did it anyway," Harlan said. "While I was on patrol, didn't even tell me until I got back." She closed her eyes. "I carried that," Harlan continued. "For years, the guilt, the anger, I couldn't save him, couldn't do anything." He looked at Apollo. "But I can save this one." Captain Ellison stood. She placed a hand on his shoulder. "You already are," she said. 2 weeks in, Harlan opened the gate. He didn't step inside, just left it open. Then sat in his chair, same as always. Apollo stood, looked at the opening. He could run, could attack, could do anything. He did nothing. Just walked to the threshold, stopped. Harlan poured his coffee, the routine unchanged. Apollo stepped outside. Slowly, cautiously. He walked past Harlan, circled the chair, came back. Then sat right beside him. Harlan's hand lowered, rested near Apollo's head. The dog leaned in, just an inch. Harlan's fingers touched his fur, light, respectful. Apollo's eyes closed. For the first time since he'd arrived, the tension left his body. The work continued. Harlan introduced Apollo to the yard, to other sounds, other people. Always slow, always patient. One afternoon, a visiting general toured the facility. Captain Ellison walked him through, showed him the kennels, the training grounds. They stopped when they saw Harlan. He was sitting in the grass, Apollo beside him. A young private named Chen sat across from them. "What's happening here?" the general asked. "Rehabilitation," Captain Ellison said. "That's Gunnery Sergeant Voss, retired, he's our specialist." The general watched. Harlan was showing Chen how to read Apollo's body language, the subtle shifts, the signs of stress. "That dog was scheduled for euthanasia," Captain Ellison said quietly. The general's expression changed. "And now?" "Now he's learning to trust again." The general nodded slowly. He didn't interrupt, just observed. After a few minutes, he turned to Captain Ellison. "I want a program," he said, "for dogs like this and for handlers like him." "Sir?" "Veterans helping veterans, soldiers helping war dogs, make it happen." Captain Ellison smiled. Yes, sir. The program launched 3 months later. They called it the K-9 Guardian Initiative. Harlan didn't attend the ceremony, didn't give speeches, didn't shake hands with politicians. He was in the kennel, working with a new arrival, a shepherd named Maggie, returned from deployment with separation anxiety. But word got out. News crews showed up, wanted interviews, wanted his story. Harlan refused. Captain Ellison ran interference, kept them away. They want to make you a hero, she said. I'm not. You've saved 14 dogs in 8 months. I'm just doing the work. She studied him. Why won't you let people see that? Harlan looked at Maggie. The dog was curled in the corner, shaking. Because it's not about me, he said. It's about them. He walked into the kennel, sat down, let Maggie come to him in her own time. Captain Ellison watched through the fence. She understood. Apollo was adopted 4 months after he arrived. A former handler, a man named Garrett. He'd lost his own dog to cancer, had space, had time, had love to give. Harlan met him first, watched how he moved, how he spoke. He's been through a lot, Harlan said. So have I, Garrett replied. Harlan looked him in the eyes, saw something familiar, something real. He needs consistency, patience, no loud noises if you can help it. I understand. And he needs to know he's safe, every single day. Garrett nodded. He will be. Harlan brought Apollo out. The dog looked at Garrett, then at Harlan. It's okay, Harlan said. Apollo walked to Garrett, sniffed his hand, sat. Garrett's eyes filled. He didn't hide it. Thank you, he said to Harlan. Harlan shook his hand. Take care of him. I will. Apollo left that afternoon, looked back once. Harlan raised his hand, not a wave, just an acknowledgement. The dog turned, climbed into the truck, and went home. Winter came. The base slowed, the cold settled in. Harlan kept working. New dogs arrived, some improved quickly, others took months. He never rushed, never forced. One evening, Captain Ellison found him in his room. He was mending a leash, his hands steady despite the arthritis. I have something for you, she said. She handed him an envelope. Inside was a letter, official, signed by the base commander. It was a job offer, full-time, benefits, housing. Harlan read it twice. You don't have to accept, she said, but you've earned it. He set the letter down. I'll think about it. She smiled. That's more than I expected. He looked at her. Why do you care? Because you showed up when no one else did, and you stayed. Harlan's hand stilled. I've seen a lot of people give up, she said. On the dogs, on themselves, you didn't. I almost did, he admitted. But you didn't. She left him alone with the letter. Harlan sat in the dim light, thought about the years on the street, the cold nights, the hunger, the shame. Then thought about Rex, Apollo, Maggie, all the others. He thought about the young handlers who stopped by now, asked questions, learned. He folded the letter, put it in his locker. Went to check on the dogs. Spring arrived. The program expanded, more kennels, more staff, more dogs saved. Harlan trained 2 new specialists, both veterans, both struggling to find purpose. He taught them the way he worked, slow, respectful, present. One of them, a former Army Ranger named Tomas, asked him a question. Do you ever think about the ones you couldn't save? Harlan was quiet. Every day, he finally said. Does it get easier? No, Harlan looked at him, but you learn to carry it different. Tomas nodded. You do the work in front of you, Harlan continued. You show up, you try, that's all you can do. What if it's not enough? It's always enough for the one you save. A year after Harlan arrived, the base held a small ceremony. They dedicated a plaque. in honor of the K-9 Guardian Initiative, in honor of the dogs, the handlers, the work. Harlan stood in the back, didn't sit on the stage, didn't want recognition. Captain Ellison spoke, talked about the program's success. 17 dogs rehabilitated, 15 adopted, 2 still in progress. She mentioned Harlan's name once, briefly. He looked at the ground. When it was over, people approached him, shook his hand, thanked him. He accepted it quietly, then left. Walked back to the kennel. Inside, a new dog waited, a shepherd mix. Name tag read Sergeant, returned from deployment, wouldn't eat, wouldn't engage. Harlan opened the gate. Sat down. "Hey," he said softly. The dog didn't move. Harlan settled in, pulled out his thermos, poured a cup of coffee, and waited. Outside, the sun set over the base. The flag lowered. Taps played in the distance. Harlan didn't hear it. He was focused on the dog, on the work, on the quiet. Sergeant's ear twitched. His eyes shifted toward Harlan. Just a glance. But it was a start. Harlan took a sip of coffee, set the cup down, and stayed.